Welcome to tonight's meeting. This meeting is being held via web meeting due to COVID. Members of the public may participate following the instructions listed on the agenda. You may also view and listen to the meeting on channel 26, the city website, and YouTube. Following the commission roll call, we'll hear the summary of hearing procedures and how the public may provide comment during today's session. For the roll call, Commissioner Lardenois.
Here.
Commissioner Alawalia.
Here.
Commissioner Barrocio.
Here.
Commissioner Cantrell.
Here.
Commissioner Casey.
Here.
Commissioner Garcia.
Here.
Commissioner Ornelas Wise.
Here.
Commissioner Young.
Here.
Outstanding. The procedure for this hearing is as follows. After the staff report, or applicants or appellants may make a 5-minute presentation. The city staff will call up the names of the public who identify the items they want to speak on. You may identify yourself by the raised hand feature in the web meeting, or click *9 on your phone, or call 408-535-3505, or email planning support staff at sanjoseca.gov. Identify your name, phone number, and what item you'd like to speak on. As your name is called, city staff will unmute you to speak. After we confirm your audio is working, your allotted time will begin. Each speaker will have up to 2 minutes, and those using a translator will have double the time. After the public testimony, the applicant and appellant may make closing remarks for an additional 5 minutes. Planning commissioners may ask questions of the speakers. Response to the commissioner questions will not reduce the speaker's time allowance. Staff will unmute the speaker to respond to the commissioner. The public hearing will then be closed, and the planning commission will take action on the item. The planning commission may request staff to respond to the public testimony, ask staff questions, and discuss the item. If anyone decides to be litigious and challenge these land use decisions in court, you would be potentially only limited to raising only the issues you or someone else raised at this public hearing or in written correspondence delivers to the city during this public hearing or through correspondence. The Planning Commission's actions on rezonings, pre-zonings, general plan amendments, and code amendments is advisory to the City Council. The City Council will hold public hearings on these items. Section 20.120.400 of the Municipal Code provides the procedures for legal protests to the City Council on rezonings and pre-zonings. The Planning Commission's action on conditional use permits is appealable. The City Council, in accordance with the same section, third section, 20.100.220 Municipal Code. So, and of course, as we call to order, we want to remind everyone that we follow the code of conduct at our meetings. This includes commenting on the specific agenda item only, addressing the full body. Speakers will not engage in a conversation of commissioners or staff. All members of the commission, staff, and public are expected to refrain from abusive language. Repeated failure to comply with the code of conduct, which will disturb, disrupt, or impede the orderly conduct of this meeting, may result in the removal from this meeting. This meeting of the Planning Commission will now come to order. At this time, we have public comment. This is for any member of the public that would like to talk about something related to the city that is not, I repeat, not on the current City Council agenda, that's Planning Commission agenda this evening. Staff, do we have any speakers?
No, we do not.
Outstanding. So now we will move to item 3, deferrals and removals from the calendar. I don't believe there's anything there. Is that correct, staff?
Chair Oliverio, if I
Yes.
may interrupt real quick, I just wanted to briefly, if this is an appropriate moment to do so, I just wanted to briefly introduce a new planning attorney in our office to the commission. Is that okay?
That'd be fantastic.
Okay, I just real quick to everybody, a new attorney in our office has started. His name's Daniel Zazweta. I believe he's present today. I just wanted to introduce him to the commission. He'll be my backup in the planning commission in the event that I'm unavailable for some reason. And he'll also be working in our office on CEQA-related matters and projects as well. So you may see his name pop up from time to time on projects. So I just wanted to introduce him to you all.
Thank you, City Attorney, and welcome.
Thank you. For some reason, my camera is not working. I'm not quite sure why. I apologize.
It'll be a mystery till the next meeting.
Yeah, I'm a mystery to you all, but I wanted to say thank you to Mark for the introduction. Thank you, Chair. Oliverio, and my condolences to you and your family.
Thank you.
I look forward to serving with you all, and I will get to know you all in the future. When Mark can't make the meeting, I will be his backup. And again, thank you for your service to the city. I'm happy to join as well.
And are you from the famed Zazueta family in the Rose Garden area?
That is the one, yes.
Outstanding, great family. Your family's done so much for San Jose, very civically minded. Moving on to the consent calendar. I believe on this, we only have the approving of the action minutes from the prior meeting. Does anyone have a question or comment or make an emotion?
Motion to approve.
I hear a motion to approve. And is there
Second.
a second on that motion? There's a second. Did staff note the first and the second? I think Commissioner Young is the second. I didn't hear the first.
Casey was the first.
Hey, Casey.
Casey.
Great. I do have a question for staff. Staff, during the item on the agenda, which was on Stevens Creek, I said I voted for the item, but I really wish to share with the city council I had concerns. Will those concerns, I didn't see the concerns in the minutes. Will those concerns be in the staff report?
I can answer
Yes,
that.
they
Chair.
will be.
Oh, okay.
Who's first?
I can answer that question, Chair. I personally prepared the report, and they are clearly stated in the staff report for the City Council.
Great. Thanks so much. Then let's have a roll call vote. Commissioner Lardenois.
Yes.
Commissioner Aluwalia.
Yes.
Commissioner Barroso.
Yes.
Commissioner Cantrell.
Yes.
Commissioner Casey.
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia.
Yes.
Commissioner Ornelas Wise. Commissioner Ornelas Wise.
Yes.
My apologies if I didn't hear you. Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Okay, and I vote yes as well. So now we'd be moving on to the next item, which is, this is sort of a slightly uncommon. Wait a minute. Hang on here. Do we have a consent calendar item? We're looking at the right agenda here, July 27th. No, I'm not. I'm looking at the wrong agenda. Hang on a sec. August 10th. Here we go. Pardon the airport broadcasting in the background. Okay, so tonight's a night where we don't actually take action on new land use items, but we actually take a review of development agreements that have been in place between the city and private entities for some number of years, and we are to review them. I understand Commissioner Young would like to recuse himself from the one dealing with Apple. So my suggestion is we hear all the other ones, so then we can take action on those and hear the Apple one second, or after all those items. So at this time, I think we'd move this over to staff. Is that Nancy? And I see a question from Commissioner Cantrell.
I have the exact same concern. So that's
Apple as well?
correct.
Congratulations. I hope you're both doing well in your portfolios. So we'll both recuse you. You recuse yourselves at that time, but we'll handle the other items first, so you can all participate in that one.
Actually,
Someone else?
Chair Oliverio, if I may interrupt, I'm sorry,
Sure.
I can feel my. So under the Political Reform Act, when we have a conflict of interest like this, a couple of housekeeping measures. The item that the members have a conflict with needs to be taken first, with them out of the room, and then they can come back in and we can hear all the other ones so that they can participate. I know that they're separate, but under the Political Reform Act regulations, that's what's required when you have to segment a decision. And then also for the two commissioners, we've stated what the conflict is, but they have to publicly announce the nature of the conflict and what it is, the reason why they're recusing themselves.
Appreciate on that segmentation. I was just personally thinking that would give them an opportunity to leave at that point and go on with the evening. But understand, so appreciate the Political Reform Act is very specific. So I take it we will take up the Apple item first, and Commissioner Young and Commissioner Cantrell will publicly state that they're recusing themselves. Correct, City Attorney?
Correct.
Great. Commissioner Young?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I will be recusing myself from this item. I do own shares in Apple common stock.
Okay, and we'll see you back in a few after we take care of this item. Commissioner Cantrell?
I will recuse myself on this matter with Apple. I do own over $2,000 of Apple stock.
Thank you both for your outstanding transparency. Moving on to staff for item A, annual compliance review and development agreement specifically for Apple.
Yes, good evening, Chair and members of the Commission. This is a compliance review hearing for the 7 active development agreements in the city. These include eBay, Cisco Technology, Novellus, Vista Montana Park, Hitachi, and Western Digital, as well as Shea Properties in Japantown and Google in Downtown West. For background, state law allows development agreements between a local agency and a developer or owner. DAs in the city of San Jose are regulated through Title 18 of the Municipal Code. These 7 DAs, or the 6 that we're talking about now, have been adopted by the City Council. State law and
Commissioner Staff Kelly, I think we're doing only the Apple one right now.
Yes, that's right. I just wanted to provide the commissioners an overview of what the DAs were. So I'll get to the Apple one quickly.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
And Chair, this is Commissioner Young. I'm still
Yes.
in the meeting. I need to be.
So staff needs to remove you from the meeting. Is that right, Commissioner Young?
That's correct.
Okay, so I'm sure staff will be working on that real quick. Okay, continue, Mr. Kelly.
Okay. So the active DAs, including Apple, are associated with different land use entitlements and have individual terms and conditions. Staff has completed an assessment of the DA terms and conditions for Apple and concluded that Apple is in compliance for the period of July 1st of last year through June 30th of this year, as explained in greater detail in the staff report. The staff report discusses basically Apple was required to provide access to the city to their property on Orchard Parkway for the city to identify areas for a potential water well, and if an area was identified or a site that would be fruitful for a well, Apple will be required to provide the city an easement in order to construct and maintain that well. And thus far, Apple has provided the required access, and the city has not moved forward at this time, at least at this part of the development agreement, in order to actually construct a well project. It's not something that the city is pursuing at this time, but may pursue it over the term of the agreement at some point. So staff is recommending that the Planning Commission certify the resolution that Apple is in compliance with the terms and conditions of its development agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Okay, on to the commission. Are there any questions regarding this development agreement, specifically with Apple? I see no questions. I do have a question myself. When this was approved, City Council provided a subsidy to Apple by not charging the full impact of full weight of traffic impact fees for the promise of jobs for the city's tax base. Should Apple choose to rezone this industrial property for what's been reported in the press for a use that would provide zero property tax, does anything change in this development agreement?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, yeah, go ahead, Nancy.
Nancy Klein, Director of Economic Development. Thank you for the question, Chair Oliverio. As you know, the state has now moved to VMT as opposed to the existing or the prior LOS service. Also, TIF would be charged differently. And what I think you're asking, Commissioner, is how will this be governed when we go forward, being optimistic that we will go forward. And just to provide the information transparently, there would be approximately half, it's anticipated that approximately half of the property will be used for jobs and half for housing. So we will come back with an analysis once a master plan has been developed in conjunction with the city and the community, and it would be brought, of course, to the planning commission. So we'll determine fees associated once we know what kind of development we'd be thinking about.
Thank you, Nancy. Any other questions from commissioners? I see no hands. Is there a motion to approve this review of the development agreement?
Motion to approve?
And is there a second?
Second.
Here a second. Okay, great. So we have a motion and a second. I don't see any further inquiries, so we'll do the roll call. Commissioner Lardenois,
Yes.
Commissioner Alawalia,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrocio,
Yes.
Commissioner Casey,
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia,
Yes.
Commissioner Ornelas Wise,
Yes.
myself, yes, and that item passes. So now we are on to the balance of the development agreements, and we can bring our two fellow commissioners back for the balance of staff presentation. Staff, let us know when our colleagues are back in the meeting, please. Still in the process of getting them back in the meeting?
Commissioner Young is here. I'm getting a hold of Commissioner Cantrell. One moment.
Okay, how about Commissioner Cantrell? He's still in the waiting room?
I'm calling him now. One moment.
Okay. Call him on the phone?
All right, Commissioner Cantrell is rejoining now.
Great. Staff, Patrick Kelly, did you have anything to present on the balance of the items, or was your intro covered all of them?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. The intro did cover all of them. I didn't have any specific comments on the others. They're summarized in the staff report, and we're available for questions.
Great. Well, thank you very much. So now to the commission, we have the balance of the development agreements. Are there questions on any one of those? I don't see any hands up. Does staff see any hands up? I have the sun in my eyes from this airplane that's shining off the tarmac here. The Sanzy International here.
No hands up.
Okay, great. Well, I guess we've had no subsequent questions. Is there a motion to approve this review of the balance of the development agreements?
Did we ask for public comment?
I heard a murmuring. Who was that?
Oh, sorry, Vice Chair here. Did we ask for public comment?
Ah, my apologies. Terrible. Staff, is there any public comment on this item?
Chair, I'm seeing none.
Okay. Well, Chair, that answers that question. I mean, Vice Chair.
Commissioners are both back.
I'll call you a variety of fine names there, Mr. Lardenois. Okay, great. So we figured out there's no public comment. The commissioners don't have any questions. We have a motion and a second. Is that correct, staff?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No motion yet.
I'll make a
I'll
motion.
move to approve the remainder of this item.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Great. And was that Garcia?
Yes.
Okay, so Commissioner Lardenois with the motion, Commissioner Garcia with the second. Let's take a roll call vote. Commissioner Lardenois,
Yes.
Commissioner Alawalia,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrocio,
Yes.
Commissioner Cantrell, Commissioner Cantrell.
I didn't hear what the motion was for.
Oh, the motion was to accept, to approve that the staff recommendation that these agreements are in order.
The remaining agreements outside of that.
That's correct, minus Apple.
Okay, yes.
Okay. Commissioner Casey,
Yes.
Commissioner Garcia,
yes,
Commissioner Ornelas Wise,
yes,
Commissioner Young,
yes,
and myself is yes, so that motion passes. Moving us on to item 6, referrals from city council boards, commission, and other agencies. Staff?
No items under there.
Very well. Item 7, good and welfare. Is there anything from the staff?
From City Council, yes. So yesterday, the City Initiatives Roadmap Sub-Story Retrofit Agreement with David Bonowitz was approved. Conventional rezoning pursuant to Senate Bill 1333 for several parcels and the Stevens Creek and Saratoga Avenue Urban Village area were also approved. And then conventional rezoning for real property located at 101 South Jackson Avenue was also approved. And the planned development permit and determination of public convenience of necessity for real property located at 350 Barack Obama Boulevard was dropped and is to be renoticed for a future date. The Blossom Hill project, 605 South Blossom Hill on the VTA property was also approved. And Cambrian Park project that also came through Planning Commission was approved. There's also a denial of an appeal for the Alviso Hotel. So staff recommendation for that denial was also approved, and that's it for the council report.
Thank you. Thank you very much. No subcommittee formation, no commissioner calendar or study session updates. Is that correct, staff?
That's correct.
Anything on the public record? Nothing I see. Any staff say anything on the public record?
No.
Nope. So that leaves us to adjournment. I don't think we have to have a formal motion, staff. We just adjourn. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Well, hey, fantastic, everyone. We got to experience something a little bit different here on the commission this week. So thank you, everyone, for excellent attendance, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. And everyone have a great rest of the evening and a great week. Take care.